Okay, so this is the next part. I left off where I kind of felt depressed because I didn't tell Anya. And to you, this probably doesn't seem like a big deal, like, wow, it's a girl, get over her. Um, but it's not really quite like that. Um, it's more like, no girl has ever seriously been into me, and I've seriously liked her pretty much in my entire life. I've never really been out with a girl. The only reason one girl asked me out is because she had just went out with my best friend and dumped him, and she wanted to get, kind of like some sort of revenge type deal on him. So, sorry, it's cold. So anyway, I kind of was like, wow, the only real chance I ever had was that girl, and now she's gone. Regardless of the fact that she was from another country, um, to me that just meant, ooh, now I get to travel. But I was really depressed. I was like, wow, how could I be so dumb that I didn't tell her, and I didn't realize I was never gonna get to tell her again. I mean, I was like, wow. I mean, I am so just wimpy. Um, I blame myself on the whole thing. I was like, geez, this is all my fault. I never do anything right. I can never say anything right. I'm always acting retarded. For some reason I don't understand. I've always been extremely smart and extremely dumb at the same time. I never know when to tell someone something, but I always know how something works. It's just I was mind-bogglingly just dumbfounded at my own stupidity. I was just like, how can I be so dumb? And that's pretty much all I thought about. Like, how could I be that dumb? Um, and I still don't have an answer for that because I should have known better. Um, so anyway, she had like the Twilight series, and I was like, oh, I've never read that. I've never heard of it. But I like to read. I had read pretty much every book that was thrown at me, even Stephen King novels like that thick. Um, the Chronicles of Narnia lasted me like 3 months. Dean Koontz, Stephen King, Tom Clancy, all of them. I was just like, gone. Um, but I was like, oh, Twilight. So the very next day, I went to the bookstore close to my house, and I bought every single Twilight book that had came out to that point. The last one hadn't came out then, because this was like summer 2008-ish or something like that. So I'm just like, wow, three hardcover books, one paperback book. It was like $60, and I was like, whoa. No one wanted to buy it for me. It was so expensive. They're like, why should we buy this for you? It's like $60. I was like, look, these books are important to me. I want to read them. Just buy the books for me, okay? I'll shut up and I won't say anything to you anymore. So they're like, okay, fine. Here's your books. Go have fun. And I literally read the first one within like a day. Like I was just straight through it because that's how I read. I read so fast um, that I just went straight through it. And I did the same thing with the second and the third one. So when I finished the third or the second one, whichever one, when the girl in the book gets like really depressed and is like, "Oh, I'm so sad and alone," it kind of hits me like, "Oh man, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like crap now. Thanks, book." Sorry. So I'm kind of feel like crap because I didn't tell Anya and nothing happened, and I'm just like, oh man, now my life sucks again. Now I feel like crap again. Thank you so much, book, for waking me up to reality. I'm so dumb. That's when I started blaming myself. So after I tried contacting this guy, I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want anyone thinking anything about him. Um, I was like, okay, that was the only guy that would have ever known her that I know. So what am I going to do now? So school started, and I started German 1, first year of high school. And I was like totally depressed the whole time. I was like, oh man, German 1. Uh, crap. Now, why do I want to learn this language if I'm not going to get to talk to her again? Because I didn't know her address, I didn't know her last name. Um, all I knew is she was from Germany and her name was Anya. I didn't even know how to spell Anya. Um, it's, by the way, the German equivalent for Anna, Anna, right? So I didn't even know that. I was like, oh man. So first thing I do is I type in some butchered spelling of her name on Google, and I click enter, and I literally searched Google. Like, I went through every single page on Google, and I was looking for the picture with her in it, or someone that looked really close to her. Um, and the guy that I was talking to, sorry, my nose is acting up. The guy that I was talking to told me that maybe he might not be certain, but her last name was Schroeder. So I was like, Schroeder, okay, I don't even know how to spell that. But okay, let's go. So I was typing in all kinds of variations, and I was searching all of Google. Yes, all of Google. I mean, like every single link of every single page that obviously was not a virus or anything like that, because even then I was pretty smart at that stuff. Um, so I was just constantly searching, constantly looking, constantly just um, determined to do this. I was so determined to do that, I had forgotten entirely about the class, German class. It wasn't offered by a real teacher at my school. I had to do it on the internet. So needless to say, I spent all my time on the internet looking for her. I looked through um, all of Facebook. I looked through all of almost every part of everything that I was part of back then. Like, uh, gosh, man, my nose is killing me. I I've always had bad sinuses. I went through all of Facebook. I went through all of YouTube, which I was part of back then. Um, I went through all of MySpace. I went through all of pretty much everything, looking for this one girl. Now you say, well, wow, you're obsessive. You're a creepy stalker, dude. No, you don't understand. When that's the only person that means something to you, you best believe that you would probably chase after them too. Um, so here I am. I feel like this loser. No one really likes me, and I'm just chasing after this girl that I don't think I'm ever gonna find, just so I can tell her that I like her. And I just feel like a total retard the whole time. The whole time I feel like a retard. But it gets better. That whole year, nothing happened. I didn't find anything. The next year, I didn't find anything. I was just sitting there like, oh God, this sucks. Um, so August 2009, like 2 days before school or a day before school, I'm just kind of sitting there like in this mood, like I'm so totally bored out of my mind, and I'm agitated, and I want to do something, but I don't know what I want to do. It was kind of like when I was trying to figure out how I was going to tell Anya, and I couldn't. I was just agitated. I was just in this perpetual agitated state all day, and I was just like, man, this is just great. Um, and then it started getting cloudy, and I was like, oh, now it's cloudy, and I'm agitated. Um, so I'm sitting here thinking, gosh, man, this sucks. So all of a sudden, this random thought goes into my head, like, a year. A year from now, you'll see her. I was like, a year from now, I'll see her. That's great. Now I have voices in my head. So I was like, now I'm totally nuts. A year from now, I'll see her. That's great. That really helps a lot. Thanks. A whole year. Awesome. Um, it wasn't really like see her. It was like contact her. It wasn't really like something clearly said you're going to see her a year from now in my head. It was like I had this feeling like intuition. Like if you write poetry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just formulate those words that rhyme, and all of a sudden you have like a whole list of words that rhyme and a whole poem just in your head, and you got to remember it and write it down. That's the kind of inspiration I had. I was like, oh man, this is deep. So I say, you know what? There's only one way to deal with this. I'm just gonna pray and just get it off my chest and just forget about it. So I go in there and I start praying. I'm like, okay, what's this from a year from now? What am I going to do? And it's like, a year from now, you're going to talk to her. And I was like, yeah, like that's ever going to happen. I don't know anyone that knows her. I don't know her. I don't know her email address. I don't know anything about her. I know that she lives in a country that has several 100 million people in it, or several million at that. And even in knowing that, I know that she's probably older than I am by a little bit, and she was. And I know all of these things, but I don't really see how I'm going to see her or know her or meet her again in the next year. It's like, you're going to meet her again in the next year. And, like, I had 96 Rock on my radio, a rock station, and right in that instance, like, this saxophone rock style, song comes on, and it's like, in a year from now it'll be done or something like that. And I used to play saxophone, and I used to play guitar, and I still play guitar. Um, so I'm just like, this is one of those coincidences again, isn't it? And I'm just like, oh man. And I hear that song all that week, just that song, like every other song that one was played. So I'm just like, this is crazy. Um, how am I ever gonna see her? So that winter goes on, and I'm in German 2 now, and I'm totally flunking at German 2 as well. At German 1, I miraculously pulled my grade up in the last day of class. I did like all of the work. Same thing with German 2, but I wasn't quite there yet. So I was staying up at midnight doing work, and I was sleepy, and I was tired, and I'd sleep in class some days, and I got sick a lot because I was kind of like overworking myself, trying to be perfect still. Um, and all of a sudden, I get this letter, like this manila envelope from my German 2 teacher. It's like, check out this program, CIEE. It's really cool. Check it out. You'll love it. So I'm like, okay, CIEE. And I look it up, and it's a foreign exchange student program to Germany. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of creepy. That goes along exactly with what God said. Because I look at it, and it says, whoever gets nominated to be the foreign exchange student will go to Germany next year, early July. And so it fit like almost perfectly with the plan. So I'm like, okay. So I enroll in it, and I get pretty far, and I impress everyone. And I was still a loser at this point, but I still impress everyone. They're just like, oh wow, this guy is smart. He knows what he's talking about, etc., etc. So that next spring, April the 3rd, was when I was a semifinalist. If I got this email that said yes, you can go, I would go. And if I got this email that says no, you can't go, I wouldn't go, and that was it. So I got it, and it says, yeah, we're so excited to inform you that you are such a great person, but unfortunately we didn't choose you. And I was just like, wow, that was such a douche move. Why'd you say you're a great person and then say we've rejected you from this program because you weren't good enough? And I was just like totally depressed. I was like, oh man, how am I gonna see her? And ironically, at that same time, it was like spring break, April the 3rd, and it was also my birthday. So it was like triple whammy because I had like this great party planned. I was gonna play paintball with my friends. It was gonna be awesome. Just a week off, hang out, chill out with my buddies, shoot some paint at people. And I had built like this whole fortress in the woods and everything. And so all that weekend, I was just trying to get these people to listen to me, let me into this program. I'm not crazy. I just want to get in this program because I really want to go to Germany. And they're like, they didn't respond that weekend because the person that was talking to me in the program, like in their office headquarters in Maine, was off for the weekend. So that next weekend, or the next Monday, Tuesday, is when I called her back and got an answer. And I will tell you that on the next video because this is over. So, ciao.